If you've been subscribed to this channel, you probably noticed something. Something rather off. One day I was uploading fairly regularly, and then I just vanished. No goodbye, no explanation on how long my hiatus would be, not even a dramatic "I'm taking a break" video. I just simply stopped posting, and my channel slowly faded into silence. Looking back on it now, I understand why people would have assumed I'd quit. But the truth is, I never really did quit. I just stopped posting here. Back when I was actively uploading, my content mostly consisted of random edits and gotcha videos every now and then. It wasn't anything particularly groundbreaking, but just the fact that I generally loved making them. Especially since it was basically a channel for funnies with my friends, you know? Every upload taught me something new, whether it was editing, timing, animation, or simply having the confidence to put something I made out into the world. Those videos were the beginning of my creative journey, and even if they were a little embarrassing to look back on now, they were and are still an important part of where I had begun. The biggest reason I stopped uploading wasn't because I lost motivation or I suddenly hated YouTube. It was actually something way more simpler. Storage. At the time, I created every single one of my videos on my iPad using CapCut and the regular old Photos app. That little setup assisted me with every edit, every transition, every export, and every upload, and it worked surprisingly well, until it started to not. As my projects became larger, so did the amount of storage they required. Every new video meant deleting another project. Sometimes I'd have to delete photos or old edits just to make enough room to even export something. There were even times I'd cancel videos from community requests because I didn't have enough storage to make the video. Eventually, I reached the point where I simply couldn't keep doing it anymore. There wasn't enough space to create the kind of videos I wanted to make. It became rather frustrating rather than exciting, so little by little, I had stopped uploading altogether. Even though my channel had gone quiet, I hadn't exactly stopped creating myself. Around September of 2024, about a month before I left my channel, I started taking a hobby of mine much more seriously. Writing. Writing had always been something I enjoyed, but this was when I decided I wanted to become better at it. Instead of coming up with random ideas that never went anywhere, I decided to challenge myself into building actual worlds, developing fun characters, and write stories that people could actually become invested in. I started learning how dialogue worked, how pacing affected a scene, and how every character should have their own distinct personality and goals. Eventually, I found myself spending hours brainstorming ideas, rewriting scenes over and over again, and thinking about stories even when I wasn't actively writing them. There's even times I'd catch myself talking as two different characters from a story to situations like arguments, lore drops, and a bunch of other things just to see how they would react and respond. Times where I would watch some movies, shows, listen to audiobooks, music, reading a random book, and play as the characters from all of those just to see what would happen depending on their personality. That's what genuinely made it fun, because in the end, that's what made everything click. The freedom to experiment, to play, and to let my imagination run wild. The more I wrote, the more I realized something. I didn't just enjoy creating stories. I enjoyed writing them into reality. That realization eventually led me to another hobby I decided to take up: voice acting. Around November of 2025, I decided to give voice acting a try. At first, it was nothing more than experimenting with different voices and seeing what I was capable of doing. I never imagined it would become such a huge part of my life. The more I practiced, the more I fell in love with it. Voice acting challenged me in ways writing never could. Suddenly, it wasn't enough to simply understand a character. I had to become them. Every emotion, pause, line had to feel genuine, and I quickly realized how much work goes into making a performance sounding especially natural. And that challenge only made me want to improve even more. Eventually, all that practice led me to opportunities I never expected to have. One of the biggest milestones of my creative journey has been joining the team behind SSTWL Sector Breach. If you haven't heard of it before, Sector Breach is an upcoming horror game that revolves around the universe of SSTWL, the YouTube channel that was once ran by none other than Liam Vickers. Yes, the same dude who made this thing. Yep! And I've had the privilege of working on such a thing, in which honestly, getting involved with this team in this project has been an incredible experience. I never expected that experimenting with different voices in my room would eventually lead me to working alongside a team of genuinely talented people on an actual game. I mean, that's just wild if you ask me. Even if I wasn't too shocked or flabbergasted when I was told I was even hired to begin with. I think something's wrong with my emotions, or just my reactions in general. They might be broken. Anyway, over the past several months, I've gotten to record dialogue, even after dozens of crash outs over not sounding as perfect as I could have been, and watch this project slowly grow from something happening behind the scenes into something that's finally ready for people to experience and play. What's even cooler is seeing how much work goes into making this game. As someone who's mainly focused on writing, it is fascinating watching all of the different pieces come together making this thing. You've got artists creating environments, props, UI, and characters that make the game feel more alive. Composers setting the mood with music along with their sound designing, making every hallway, machine, and creature sound exactly the way they should. Writers building the story. Voice actors and actresses giving those characters a voice, and obviously the director, who's pretty much a 3-in-1 at this point, being not only the one in charge, but our programmer and animator spending hours making sure everything actually functions correctly. Yep, if it wasn't for this dude right here, this game would have never been put together, and I would have never been as talkative online as I am now. It's honestly amazing seeing how many different creative fields come together to make one game. And I feel incredibly lucky that I got to be one small part of that process. Now that I think about it, if you've watched the second trailer for the game by any chance, you may have already heard my voice. I'll link both trailers in the description below if you're interested in checking them out. Without spoiling anything, I'm really excited for everyone to finally hear the full performances once the game launches. Speaking of which, depending on when I post this, the game releases in just a couple days. Because I know I'm releasing this before the game. So if you're into atmospheric horror, great storytelling, and supporting indie developers who have poured countless hours into their passion project, I'd really appreciate it if you checked out SSTWL Sector Breach. Even if something as simple as wishlisting the game on Steam or sharing it with someone who enjoys horror games can make a huge difference for the team. I'll as well leave a link to the Steam page down in the description, so if it sounds like something you'd enjoy or be interested in, definitely give it a look. I genuinely can't wait for everyone to experience what the team has created, and I'm incredibly grateful that I was able to be part of that journey. Being invited to work on the project honestly felt surreal. A hobby I had only recently begun taking seriously had turned into the opportunity to contribute to an actual game, alongside an incredibly talented group of people. Throughout the project, I've had the opportunity to voice a couple characters that have already been revealed publicly, including the vocalist for Sarah Cole Duffy and the Sam's intercom system featured throughout the second trailer. Each role had brought its own challenges, and every recording session taught me something new about both acting and performance. It was a lot. Hearing my own voice in a trailer for the first time was one of those moments that didn't quite feel real. It's difficult to describe the feeling of seeing how something you worked on for months is finally being shown to other people. It's exciting, nerve-wracking, and incredibly rewarding all at the same time. Yep. With the game releasing in just a few days, I couldn't be more excited for everyone to finally experience what the team has been working so hard to create. Working on Sector Breach has shown me something very important. Writing and voice acting aren't separate passions for me anymore. They complement each other. The more I write, the better I understand characters when I'm acting. The more I act, the better I understand how dialogue should sound when I'm writing. Each skill has helped me improve the other, and together, they've completely changed my direction of my creative life. Thankfully, the storage problems that originally forced me away from YouTube are no longer holding me back. I finally have a setup that allows me to create videos again consistently without worrying about running out of space or deleting projects just to make room for the next one. That means I can finally return to something I've wanted to do for a very long time. This channel. Going forward, I don't want this place to simply become a place where I upload random videos whenever I feel like it. I want it to become a place where I can share my creative journey. I want to talk about writing, voice acting, the projects I'm involved in, behind-the-scenes experiences, the things I'm learning, and maybe even help inspire someone who's beginning their own creative journey themselves. Of course, there will probably be the occasional chaotic upload because, let's be real, I made gacha crap. That's part of who I am. But now those uploads will have a purpose. They'll reflect the creator I've become rather than the one I formerly was. Looking back on it now, it's funny to think that a channel once filled with random edits and gacha videos has become the starting point of something so much bigger. If you had told me a few years ago that I'd be writing scripts, voicing characters in an upcoming game, and preparing to rebuild this channel around the things I'm most passionate about, I would literally not hesitate to say you're full of crap. Yet, here we are. To everyone who's been subscribed since those early days, thank you for sticking around. It means more than you know. I mean, it's shocking you're still here, actually, especially after so long of not answering ya. Sorry about that. And to everyone who's just discovering my channel, welcome. I'm genuinely excited to have you here. This isn't the return of a YouTube channel, it's the beginning of a new chapter of my creative journey. One built on stories, characters, voices, and the passion that kept me creating when I wasn't even uploading. And this time, it's only the beginning. Why was this all so damn cheesy?